It should be number two. And also the control of the resources to be divided transparently and evenly throughout the 64 tribes, wherever they are.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. President Salva Kiir has appointed a multi-party steering committee to manage political dialogue on the national election roadmap as the country prepares for general elections expected in December this year. A coalition of Western diplomatic missions in South Sudan has called for an immediate ceasefire and the prosecution of soldiers involved in the killing of 16 civilians in Ayod County of Jonglei State. And the prosecution in the trial of the suspended first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar has asked the special court to dismiss defense objections and admit a key document 9H as evidence. These stories and more are coming to you in this news bulletin with me, James Atem. Now the news in detail. President Salva Kiir has appointed a multi-party steering committee to manage political dialogue on the national election roadmap as the country prepares for general elections expected in December this year. The announcement was made through a presidential decree broadcast on South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation last evening, and it brings together representatives of parties signatory to the peace agreement. The committee includes members from the Sudan People's Liberation Movement (SPLM) and the Sudan People's Liberation Movement in opposition (SPLM-IO), the South Sudan Opposition Alliance (SOA), as well as the other political parties, among others. According to the decree, the committee will oversee inter-party dialogue while also reviewing the legal frameworks related to election, and it will propose a clear timeline for the polls. It will also organize the official launch of the national political dialogue and facilitate negotiations among the parties so that they can agree on the final electoral timetable. In addition, the committee will review legal and technical requirements to ensure they meet national standards, engage stakeholders to promote inclusivity and transparency, and regularly report on progress made in implementing the roadmap. The steering committee is made up of senior representatives from peace agreement signatories, and this, according to decree, reflects a collaborative approach to preparing for the elections. The members of the committee include Tut Galwak Manime from the SPLM, who serves as the chairperson, and Stephen Par Kwal from SPLM-IO, who is the co-chairperson. Dr. Akol Paul Kurdit, also from the SPLM, serves as the deputy co-chair. Dr. Martin Ilia Lomuro from National Agenda holds the position of rapporteur, while Africano Mande Gedima from the SPLM, Albino Kolatak from the OPP, and Dina Jok Shagor from the SOA serve as deputy rapporteurs. Other deputy rapporteurs include Nunu Roda Rudolph from SPLM-IO, Julius Tabule Daniel from NAS. These leaders will guide the committee in managing the political dialogue and election roadmap. The establishment of this high-level body comes as the government moves to address outstanding issues in the peace agreement and to ensure that the country is ready for its first general election later this year. A coalition of Western diplomatic missions in South Sudan has called for an immediate ceasefire and the prosecution of soldiers involved in the killing of 16 civilians in Ayot County of Jonglei State. In a joint statement issued by the European Union and the embassies of Canada, France, Germany, Ireland, Japan, and the Netherlands, Norway, the United Kingdom, and the United States said the killing took place on February 21, 2026. The diplomatic body expressed grave concern over the incident, which occurred amid reports of ongoing hostilities in northern Jonglei between government forces, the SPLA-AIO, and allied White Army forces. The statement characterized the deliberate killing of women and children as a significant violation of human rights and the spirit of peace agreement. The embassies further called on warring parties in the region to cease hostilities immediately to prevent further loss of innocent lives. The embassies further called on the government to address discipline within the ranks of the SSPDF. The SSPDF has not confirmed or denied the incident. You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News. The prosecution in the trial of the suspended first Vice President Riek Machar has asked the special court to dismiss defense objections and admit a key document, named as Document 9H, as evidence. The objections follow the defense's challenge to a digital forensic report prepared by a South African expert. The defense argues the report was authenticated after the case was filed and after the court was established. They also question the expert's jurisdiction and the lack of authentication from the South African embassy in Juba. During Friday's 55th session, prosecutor advocate Ajo Ohisa told the three-judge panel that the defense raised 6 points which he said focused on the timing of the report and the embassy authentication. He added that all authentication processes were completed before the court's first session on September 22, 2025. Ohisa cited South Sudan's Evidence Act and South Africa's Criminal Procedure Act, saying no law was broken. He urged the court to dismiss the objections and formally accept Document 9H as part of the prosecution's evidence. Presiding Judge Justice James Alala said the report contains multiple documents and needs more time for review. He adjourned the case to Monday, 2nd March, when the court is expected to rule on whether the report will be admitted. This is the fourth adjournment of the trial, which has faced repeated delays over disputes on the digital forensic report. Earlier, judges described the report as disorganized and ordered the prosecution to restructure it. The prosecution later apologized and resubmitted the document. The government of Jonglei State has strongly condemned the killing of 16 civilians, including 8 children and 5 women, in Ayot County by elements within the South Sudan People's Defense Forces. Reports of the incident come amid ongoing fighting in northern Jonglei State between government forces and the SPLA-AIO and allied White Army forces. According to a statement from the European Union and several Western embassies, the incident occurred on February 21st, 2026. In a statement issued yesterday, the state government said the 16 civilians, including 8 children, 5 women and 3 men, were killed in Pakor village of Pajek Payam in Ayot County. 2 other people were injured in the attack. The state government blamed what it described as unruly elements within the SSPDF. Speaking to iRadio this morning, Jonglei State Minister of Information and Communication, Nyamar Lon Thichot, said the state government has called for the immediate prosecution of those responsible.
Unruly individuals that committed the crime. It happened last week. I don't have the exact date. It happened last week, and then we had the killing that occurred. We were informed by the Commissioner of Ayot County that this killing took place. It is individuals who actually committed this crime. No, they were not killed during fighting. It was not during a fight. Yeah, it was a separate killing, not involved with fighting. They were killed in the village, some inside the houses, others outside, actually just around the area where they stay. This is where the crime happened. Yeah. Chief of Defense Forces, General Polnang, ordered the arrest of the stated element, and they have been arrested now in Ayot County and soon to be transported to the marshal.
The state minister said SSPDF leadership informed the state government that the suspects have been arrested and will be transferred to Juba to face court-martial. She also called on the families of the victims and communities in Akobo County to remain calm, saying those involved will be brought to book.
We would like to urge the leadership of SSPDF to continue with the spirit of serving the people of Jonglei State like they have done before, because they're the ones keeping the order and the law in the areas of the northern part of Jonglei State. This be served as soon as possible, and I would like to inform them that justice will take its course through the leadership of the SSPDF.
The SSPDF has not yet commented on the incident. You're listening to iRadio News. Part of Konyo Market in the Teki Market area was damaged by fire last night, affecting a section of the fish market, according to the mayor of Juba City Council. Speaking at the scene, Mayor Christopher Sarafino Swaka said the fire started in a cooking area where a vendor frying groundnuts and preparing groundnut paste accidentally left fire unattended, leading to the outbreak. He added that 20% of the fish market was burned. Mayor Swaka explained that the fire brigade responded quickly and contained the fire.
والليلة في سوق الكونيو جنوب بجابة السوق تركي كان في حريقة قام وفي بجابة السوق سمك، والحريقة ده لما قام في وقت وجيز من الزمن احنا قدرنا نعمل اتصالات مع قوات الدفاع المدني، وفي أقل من نص ساعة هم واحنا برضو انا كعمده بالبلديه احنا وصلنا لموقع واحنا قتلنا النار. الحمد لله النار ده كان هيكون نار كبير جدا. النار ده اتاثر بسوق السمك، يعني نسبه تقريبا 20% بتاع سوق اتحرق، والسبب بتاعت النار دي احنا لقينا انه احنا في كونيا جنوب سوق كده في نصابين اللي بيعملوا فول وبعمل دكو، يا خلي النار بتاعه بالهواء البسيط، يا هو النار ده قام يا عمل حريقه هنا في السوق، لكن الحمد لله يعني احنا سترنا للنار. احنا اللي نقول للمواطنين بتاعنا ما احنا نقول تنظيم الاسواق ده مهم جدا، يعني هسه الحاجه اللي خلانا نقدر نحرص على اقرب صوره ممكن ان الشارع الكل حطيناه هنا في كده، الشارع ده فاضي او يمكن خلى العربيه بتاعت المطافي قادر يخش السوق، واحنا قدرنا ننقذ السوق ده. يعني اذا كان السوق ده بطريقه هو كان قاعد فوق زمان كان النار ده ممكن يكون كبير وكان كارثه كبير جدا.
He said the market's organization helped the firefighters access the area quickly and prevent further damage. You're listening to iRadio News, and lastly, before regional and international news, more than 60 elders and intellectuals from the Dinka and Nuer communities are attending a dialogue organized by a faith-based group in Juba aimed at promoting national reconciliation and unity. The dialogue began yesterday and is expected to conclude today. Organized by the South Sudan Council of Churches, the meeting brought together influential members of the Jiang and Nuer councils of elders to use their influence in mobilizing community support for peace and reconciliation. Church leaders say elders remain powerful voices whose influence can either strengthen grassroots reconciliation efforts or deepen divisions through polarizing rhetoric and political positioning. Speaking during the opening session, Reverend Justin Badi Arama, Archbishop and Primate of the Episcopal Church of South Sudan, said elders play a key role in fostering unity and stability. He said after the dialogue, the elders are expected to chart a way forward in promoting reconciliation and peace within their communities. Primate Badi added that the same dialogue will be extended to elders from the Equatorial region and other communities.
We have been praying about peace, unity and reconciliation in our country, and then we realized the importance of elders in their role in bringing peace and unity. So we decided that we will bring all elders of the different communities in South Sudan together to ask them, to listen to them, and then encourage them to give their advice on the way forward towards peace and stability in this nation. And today we have started with elders from the two communities, that is from the Jeng communities and then from Nuer communities, that we shall be 2 days with them. After that, we expect that there will be way forward and there will be a vision and advice, way of stability and reconciliation as we were during the time of the liberation. And then after here, we will also go to elders from Equatoria and other communities.
Primate Badi said the initiative is part of broader efforts to support national healing and strengthen grassroots-led peace processes across South Sudan. He added that the dialogue seeks to build consensus and a shared commitment to promote peace, non-violence and reconciliation while aligning elders' influence with ongoing grassroots peace efforts through positive messaging and constructive community engagement. You're listening to iRadio News, and now let's go and listen to international news with my colleague Lasuba Memo.
Thanks, James. Atem queer on the international stage. Police in Kenya have charged a man accused of luring young men to Russia with job opportunities only for them to end up fighting in Ukraine. State prosecutors said on Thursday that Festus Arasa, head of recruitment agency Global Faces Human Resources, recruited 32 Kenyans for the purpose of exploitation by means of deception. The victims were rescued last September from an apartment complex in Athi River, a town near the capital Nairobi, before they could travel to Russia. However, 3 others had already left Kenya, finding themselves on the front line of the war and returning home with injuries. A total of 1,000 Kenyans has been recruited to fight for Russia in its 4-year war against Ukraine. Pakistan is striking the Afghan capital of Kabul as part of a wave of attacks across the country. The Pakistani strikes on Friday came after the Afghan Taliban announced a major offensive against Pakistani military posts near the border on Thursday night. As tension flares, Pakistan's Prime Minister says the country has the full capability to crush any aggressive ambitions, while the Defense Minister declares open war on the Afghan Taliban. Finally, Hillary Clinton told a congressional panel she had no idea about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, as she called for lawmakers to question President Donald Trump under oath about his past association with the late sex offender. Her husband, former President Bill Clinton, will testify on Friday. The couple had resisted a subpoena from the panel, dismissing it as politically motivated, before agreeing to testify as potential contempt of Congress proceedings loomed against them. The Clintons and Trump deny wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. That's all making headlines on the global stage. Back to you, James Atem Queer.
Thank you, Lasuba Memo. And up next is the Sport News with Darlington Moses.
Thank you so much, James Atem. In the world of sport, Cristiano Ronaldo has become co-owner of his Spanish second division side Almeria by acquiring a 25% share in the club. The 41-year-old Al Nassr forward has bought his stake in Almeria, who are owned by Saudi Arabian investment consortium led by Mohammed Al-Kharezi through his recently formed CR7 Sports Investment Company. While the financial details have not been disclosed, Ronaldo said in a statement he was looking forward to working with leadership team to support the next phase of the club's growth. The Portugal international added it has been a long-held ambition of mine to contribute to football beyond the pitch. Almeria is a Spanish club with strong foundations and clear potentials for growth. The San Antonio Spurs beat the Toronto Raptors to extend their winning run and close in NBA Western Conference leaders Oklahoma City Thunder. Davin Vassell scored 21 points and Aaron Fox 20 as the visitors triumphed 110-107 at Scotiabank Arena to claim a 10th successive win for the first time since the 2015-2016 season. Victor Wembanyama scored only 12 points for the Spurs but made a crucial block his fifth of the game with 44 seconds remaining. The Spurs improved to 42-16, while the Thunder are 45-15 after losing 124-116 at Eastern Conference leaders Detroit Pistons. Kade, Kim Min Ham and Jalen Duren scored 29 points apiece for the Pistons, while the NBA's most valuable player Shai Gilgeous-Alexander missed a 9 straight game for the Thunder because of injury. British number 3 Katie Boulter secured her 7th consecutive win on the WTA Tour as Camila Osiria retired during their second round match at the Meridas Open. Boulter, who won the Ostrava Open this month, had taken the first 63 in Mexico when Colombian Osoria called for the physio and decided not to continue. World number 69 Boulter will face Italian top seed Jasmine Paolini or Australian Priscilla Hon in the quarter-finals on Friday. It's been pretty tough recently. I have seen a lot of people with them. I have been through myself, so I know now it is difficult, she added. Indians well, the third WTA 1000 tournament of the year begins on a 4th March in California. This is all in the world of sport, and back to you, James Atem.
Thank you, Darlington Moses, for the sport news. You're listening to our radio news, and now to end this bulletin, here are the headlines once again. President Salva Kiir has appointed a multi-party steering committee to manage political dialogue on the national election roadmap as the country prepares for general elections expected in December this year. A coalition of Western diplomatic missions in South Sudan has called for an immediate ceasefire and the prosecution of soldiers involved in the killing of 16 civilians in Ayod County of Jonglei State. And the prosecution in the trial of the suspended first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar has asked the special court to dismiss defense objections and admit a key document 9H as evidence. That's the end of our radio news. If there is a story or an event you would like our radio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also a WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at half past the hour. I am James Atem. Thanks for listening.